What's poppin', everyone? This is SaberWolf94, and today I want to talk about some Pokemon shit. I've had these thoughts for quite a long while, to be honest, but I kind of got more motivated to make this video uh, ever since I saw Tamashi Hiroka's very, very good but very long sort of retrospective review of Diamond and Pearl, and recently when we learned that uh, Ultra Sun and Moon are indeed confirmed to be the last core Pokemon RPG games on the 3DS, and it's about fucking time if you ask me, I think. But this sort of makes it certain that the DP remakes, when they do come out, because it's not an if, it's a when, and I'll talk about this later too, they are going to come out on the Nintendo Switch, and I think that's a pretty good thing. I remember when, I think it was like a year ago or something, I'm not really sure how long ago it was, when, well, it can't have been a year ago because the Nintendo Switch got released on March, so I think it was on like the first sort of E3 with the Nintendo Switch. I'm not really sure, but they did announce that a core Pokemon game was in development, is in development for the Nintendo Switch. That's going to come out in 2008 or 2009, 2018 or 2019. I don't remember. But the thing is, I've considered for a long time that, the DP remakes, there was a chance they would come on the 3DS, but I also thought that there was a higher chance they would come on the Switch, and that it would be a good idea for them to come on the Switch for several reasons. Number one, uh, Generation 4 is kind of like the last sort of a true classic Pokemon gen, uh, if that makes sense for Pokemon fans and stuff. What I mean is by that is that after 4th gen, when 5th generation came around, shit changed. They made the game a lot more easier. They would give you max revives and stuff like that left and right. A lot of basic, not really basic, but kind of features that should have been like standardized and normalized that came in the 3rd generation and were improved upon in 4th generation and stuff got removed, like the berries and stuff like that. And you know the series shifted to a different direction, and then we had 6th generation and all the way now currently to the 7th generation, where there's a lot of changes for better or for worse. But because generation 4 is like the last I don't want to say true generation, but the last classic Pokemon gen, I should say, and it introduced the god of Pokemon, Arceus. That's kind of special. I thought that, what they're gonna do the remakes, they're probably gonna include like new shit going on. Like maybe they're gonna do Primal Dialga or Primal Palkia. Uh, I'm not really sure. Probably a lot of people talked about these things, but I've had that on my mind for a long time. I haven't really watched videos talking about the DP remakes, to be honest, at all. But, maybe they're going to introduce the ultimate Arceus form, because the thing is, if Arceus is the god of Pokemon, I think he needs to be kind of even stronger, like maybe get not necessarily a mega form, but something, maybe a mega form, maybe something like some sort of new form, new sort of power up. Because, if he's God, you can't have Mega Rayquaza be stronger than you. I mean, I fucking love Rayquaza, one of the best Pokemon for sure, deserves to be like on such a high league among legendaries, but Arceus is Arceus, it's supposed to be God. So it will make sense for the remake of Diamond and Pearl to do similar things like in Oras and what have you, and make Arceus even better and shit. Like maybe have all his base stats be 140, I don't know. That would be cool. But this is also very good because, on the Switch, it's a fucking hybrid console that can be on the TV, and you can take it with you. And with the technology over there, it will make a fantastic like DP remake. It will be like a new like Pokemon Coliseum game or something, but even better, you know. And I think that's really cool for fourth generation Sinnoh remakes. And Sinnoh remakes are going to happen. I thought to myself, like I think some people were predicting it will come in like 2017, this year and stuff. I thought that it's kind of unlikely. It wouldn't be impossible because, you know, it doesn't really take anything for Nintendo to just announce, okay, in 5 months, uh, Sinnoh remakes and shit, like they did with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and what they've done with other Pokemon games and stuff to, surprises. But I really thought that if they were gonna come, just like the ORAS remakes that didn't exactly come when the 10th anniversary was going on, they came like 2 years after that. I really thought that, okay, it's either gonna come in 2018, they're gonna come, or might even be 2019. And you never know, maybe it'll even come in 2020. I give it a lot of time because, even though remakes happen, and they will happen, they're going to continue to happen, and I'll talk about this later too, uh, they kind of need to give it more space, I think, because if it's kind of like a fixed every 10 year, every time we expect it sort of thing, then it's kind of like, it seems so obvious, it seems so, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, okay, the remakes are going to happen. It kind of loses a little bit of spark, if you guys know what I mean. But they definitely will happen and they will continue to happen for a number of reasons. Number one is since they started the idea of remakes in when they did Fire Red and Leaf Green, it kind of just makes sense that this was going to keep happening because, if you do one gen, then generation two, a lot of people thought, man, these games are classics, these games, they should get remakes too, and then those got remade. And then it passes on to Ruby and Sapphire, where I thought as well, and many people thought, these games are classics by now too. We want remakes, we want to experience them again, we want to see, revamp shit. And then they kind of, just like they said, their hand was kind of forced. There was very high demand in Japan, especially too, and they had to do them. And it makes sense for them, to be honest, because it's just so easy. Their remakes, maybe they'll recycle and just revamp a lot of shit. Uh, they don't, maybe they don't have to think so much about the design of the region and all that stuff. And it's just, it prints money. If it's gonna make money, if there's an audience, they're gonna do it, whether some people think it's pointless or not. And it's the same with fourth generation Sinnoh. It got passed down to Sinnoh now. you know Not to mention those games, like the fourth generation games, actually have one of the biggest Pokemon followings, uh, even more popular than third generation. Diamond and Pearl sold like 18 million units. It introduced a lot of people, like a lot of, I guess, newer faces to Pokemon, I feel like. And, they're great gens, to be honest. Uh, they've got a lot of legitimate, maybe, flaws, like Tamashii Hiroka said. I don't agree with everything she said, but that was a brilliant retrospective. I love that video. Uh, Amazing quality, amazing, like, writing. I respect that she fucking played through Diamond and Pearl, and a lot of the things she says about pacing and stuff, it makes sense. Of course, for me, if you don't really care that much about that, then it doesn't really matter. But a lot of things she said are very, very valid. But yeah, so that's with the Diamond and Pearl remake stuff. They are eventually going to happen, and now that we know for sure that 3DS is not going to get any more Pokemon core games, then it only makes sense it's going to come down to the Switch. I think it's a brilliant idea. I really don't think Nintendo's going to surprise us with another, uh, new type of DS, 3DS handheld exclusive device, because at this point, I think they really need to keep keep at it with the Nintendo Switch because it really has just amazing potential. You know, if they start keep getting the third-party games on there, and they bring a lot of us guys that maybe only would have a 3DS and are portable guys. You bring the Pokemon, the core Pokemon guys over there too that maybe just buy Pokemon games. They always buy the latest Pokemon games, and you're gonna increase your audience even more. And this is how they should do it. Just like the PlayStation 4, just go all out on your console, support it, and with a big install base, even more third-party and uh, stuff is gonna come out, and it just makes for a bigger community on the platform. So I feel like that's the way to go. They're definitely gonna, well, not definitely, but I'm pretty certain that's what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna announce any other device anytime soon. They'll focus on the Switch. Of course, like I've said, this is Nintendo. You never know uh, what they might do. You just never know. But it really is the way to go. There's a lot of stuff they can do. It's going to be great to play a core Pokemon game with a big TV and take it with you. And to be honest, the other possibility is we don't really know. It actually might even be very unlikely that the core Pokemon game they're talking about on the Switch is the Diamond and Pearl remake. It might be, a new 8th generation or something. Because let's be honest, Pokemon gens happen every 3 years now. It seems pretty consistent, so you never know. We were kind of a little bit surprised with 6th Generation 2 that they only released those two games, X and Y. They didn't really do any remake or sequel or stuff, but you never know. It might happen. This is why I'm saying that maybe it's going to come out in 2018. You never know. But I'm pretty sure it is eventually going to happen, even if it doesn't happen now. And, maybe it happens in, I don't know, like 15 years. It's going to be 15-year anniversary, not 10 or whatever. It is going to happen eventually because fans will keep talking, will keep at it, will demand it, just like ORAS. And Nintendo put itself in this position where they're gonna have to do this now. Kind of. If they don't, they're gonna piss a lot of people off. So this is all I had to say for this topic. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. The Pokemon games I want to talk about. The sequels, Ultra Sun and Moon, and in general how Nintendo just goes about making Pokemon games and stuff like that. But maybe I'll do this in a different video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little Pokemon rant. I like doing stuff like this. A lot of the times I think it in my head. I'm having a good time thinking it and analyzing and improvising it. But by the time uh, I think, oh, it might be a good idea to make a video about this, I might forget a lot of things and stuff. But hope you guys enjoyed this little rant. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends if they want to learn some really cool shit. Because I really think that my instinct and my thoughts have a lot of merit in these sorts of topics. Um, I don't want to be like an arrogant asshole, but I've pretty much called a lot of the stuff that's going to happen with the Switch and with the DP games and stuff. Um, we'll see what happens, though. I could be completely wrong, but I really thought that they weren't going to come out in the 3DS. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. SaberWolf94, what up?